And welcome. I'm Miss Rainey, and I wanted to give you guys a synopsis of our class 2468. And first, we start off in our live class with an agenda that gives us all our details that we'll be talking about that day. Pray, our objectives, make sure that the students have the appropriate materials that they need. If there was a worksheet they needed to have printed, their colored pencils, erasers, things like that. And then we go through and usually I start off the day with what's your mood today, and the students really like to tell me how they're feeling that day, that morning, happy, sad, hungry, whatever. Then we jump into a challenge where the students will chat or text in the chat box the answers to the questions here, and they're competing actually against me, so they really enjoy that. And then we go to our next topic, which is when will we ever use this? So this specific lesson is about decimals, and we like to talk about how in the world is this important, because a lot of times students don't really know where we would use certain math topics in the real world. Then we'll talk about which one doesn't belong, and they really enjoy this because there's really no wrong answer, and we are trying to knock out each one of these squares. So it's really fun to hear the different ideas of how students think one of these can be knocked out for which one doesn't belong. Then I'll do a vocabulary review just to make sure they're up to date with the vocabulary that we use more often in the higher level math classes. Then we go ahead and start with our lesson, and I like for the students to get involved, whether they're chatting the answer or answering me out loud using their microphone, or they really like to write on the board. For example, this problem says what whole numbers versus less than whole numbers. So they might be asked to put a circle around where the whole numbers would go. So like the ones place would be whole numbers. Then we might have them write on the board or text me their answers for which decimal square below represents 6/10, and everyone would just chat their answers there so they're paying attention and keeping up. If students want to write on the board, I let them write on the board as much as time as we have, and we do a lot of chatting and texting through the chat box. About halfway through, we have a break. So for 5 minutes, I like them to go ahead and stand up, stretch, get something to drink. And we'll continue our lesson, letting them write on the board. Here's an example of what they will see when they're given the drawing board. They can write on it or they can text on it, draw pictures and stuff like that to find where would 50 cent be and stuff like that. And we do a quick video, maybe about a minute or minute and a half, that has to do with the topic for that specific day. At the end, or sometimes in the middle of class, we'll do a quiz or a Kahoot, which the students really love, and they sort of work at their own pace with that. Then we can discuss our homework. So this specific lesson was for week 3, and everything you need is actually in PowerSchool. So when you log into PowerSchool, that's where you will find the link to this classroom and all of your weekly assignments. So let's have a look. So each week in this math class, I like to give the students 4 assignments. So usually it's watch some videos, and then they have to answer some questions on a practice. They get 2 chances, and the highest score is counted. So I like for them to do an assignment every day if possible, because with math, it builds every day. So we really want to make sure they're keeping up with math each and every day. And then they have a quiz, and they get to take that 1 time. So the questions are usually anywhere from 10 to 20 questions. Usually takes maybe 45 minutes. Could take less, could take a little bit more, but usually that's the estimated time. Then there are videos for them to watch on the page and games that they can play, and also extra practice. So that everything is right here in PowerSchool, so it makes it really easy for them to know exactly where to go and what to do, and if they've done it or not, they'll know where to go. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about our class.